Monday.
Day after day, when there's a Group 1 race on, they win it. And that's what they've done this carnival, as they've done in the spring many times in Melbourne.
Talented Warwick Farm trainer Rod Craig was very pleased Lee Freedman didn't have a runner in the Champagne Stakes because it enabled Rod's horse, Intergaze, to race very generously for Glen Boss and stave off Shane's Mount Anthems in a tight finish at the end of the 1600 metres. Let's go to the track, the Champagne Stakes. Amber Light winking on top. They're off in the Champagne. Dan Hendry didn't begin well. She took a backward step and missed her the length or more. Clang bounced out in front. Quickly into stride is My Duke, and Victory Dash began well. There's no pace early. On the outside, Intergaze is now pulling his way up towards the lead. Dan Hendry won't settle. She's throwing the head about on the inside of Bolster, and out the back as Anthems in the run to the first turn. Victory Dash first into the straight over Intergaze. My Duke is 3 deep on the turn, and then Clang and Dan Hendry followed by Bolster, with Anthems on the fence and Babu's Boy as last as they come over the rise. Victory Dash is quickly rounded up by Intergaze. My Duke on the outside taking a while to hit top gear, and they're clear of Clang, and Anthems is running on strongly at the 200. Intergaze still in front. He won't give up. He's fighting back. He's clear of My Duke, and getting home fast is Anthems, who's going to fly to the line. Intergaze in front as they get near home, and Intergaze wins the Champagne Stakes without the rings. Anthems got second, My Duke third. Yeah, they took the rings off the winner behind the starting gate. Shane, if you had that over again, would you get as far back on Anthems?
I think I would have gone forward, but I was always going to be 3 wide if I'd gone forward, and he's such a relaxed horse, and I think he might make a Derby winner next preparation. He's going to be very hard to beat in the size and the Castlemaine, and he's one of the best two-year-olds, staying two-year-olds. I've ridden that horse. I've got a lot of time for him.
Well, another good staying horse was yesterday was Intergaze. Of course, he won the race and he was up forward all the way, and the guy that guided him there was Glen Boss, and I just asked him whether he got a bit of a shock himself at the ease of Intergaze's win.
Yeah, actually surprised me. He's a lovely horse. He unfortunately had to lead last start, and it didn't suit him, and Rod told me to just ride him off the speed today, and he relaxed just so superbly for me, and I was actually in no doubt of losing the race because I thought he would win all the way.
People have been saying you're a confidence rider. You're riding so well. Do you find that's the case? Yeah, I feel in the especially the Group 1s, you seem to move every muscle, and you seem to try to extract everything out of yourself and the horse, and you're thinking so much more because you put. I mean, I do the form pretty strongly throughout the year, but especially Group 1 races, you really get quite intense about it, and the build-up's so much bigger. It's, I suppose, like going into a grand final. It's, you know, every race is a grand final, the Group 1, so you try and put a lot into it. Keep making it a habit.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, Glen's had a terrific autumn carnival. OK, we're going live to Tulloch Lodge and Gay Waterhouse after this, and we're going to have a look at her win with Linesman in the NEC St Ledger.
Coming through in the centre, Dana Singer looks to have got to a narrow lead over Sprint By as they get near home. Juggler is flying late. Sprint By wins the Doncaster.
Well, that was another magic moment for Gay Waterhouse, who had multiple representation in the Doncaster. Gay, this is our first opportunity to talk since that race. You were mouthing the word juggler over the last 100 metres. Did you actually realise Sprint By had won when they hit the line?
Yes, no, I did, John. I could just see Juggler pushing through with such force and such turn of foot that I thought he was going to overpower his rivals. And I suppose in my heart I probably thought that he was the horse that would win the race. But Sprint By had been positioned very brilliantly by Glen Boss very early in the race and had the run of the race and never looked back.
Gay, Simon O'Donnell, linesman yesterday, very impressive. What are the plans for him?
Well, Simon, it'd be nice if I see everyone down in Melbourne on the first Tuesday in November. He's certainly a horse that is very capable of winning a nice cup race. And he'll be running in Sydney at Rose Hill in the Stayers Cup on the 11th. And then we'll head down to Adelaide for the Adelaide Cup and then the St Ledger.
Okay, let's relive the moment for you yesterday as linesman scores a slogging and dour win in the NEC St Ledger. And the field of 8 steadies down in brilliant autumn sunshine as the gates fly open and they're away in the NEC St Ledger. Came out in a nice line and Gull Sovereign went to the lead early, taken on by Short Touch, and Shirley's Delight is quickly into a handy spot. Linesman on the outside wants to over-race a bit as they come over the rise the first time. Bozart is going to settle on the fence about 5th, and then Brilliant Poet followed by Tennessee Oak, and back at the tail Spiritual Star as they come to the 600 mark, and they're fair dinkum now. It's Gull Sovereign, just the leader. Linesman on the outside. Shirley's Delight dropping off again. Short Touch on the fence, then Brilliant Poet. Bozart is saving every inch of ground. Now she's come to the outside of Short Touch, followed by Tennessee Oak and Spiritual Star last as they thunder around the turn in the St Ledger. Over the rise, and Linesman in the Harry Lawton colours took the lead as they top the hill. Brilliant Poet coming after him. Bozart between horses, and Spiritual Star coming right down the outside, but Linesman has dashed away past the 150, well clear of Spiritual Star, who's running on gamely, and then Tennessee Oak, but Linesman, he can stay. He stays all day and half the night, and Linesman wins easily over Spiritual Star. Tennessee Oak third. Unfortunately, the favourite pulled up very lame in a 4-leg, Bozart, but Linesman didn't go. He's as sound as a bell.
No, he's here just to talk to you now, John, and tell all the punters out in movie land that he's ready to win the next Melbourne Cup. Anyway, Adelaide Cup, aren't you?
I got 50 for you, Gay. I had a quid on him yesterday.
Good on you. Very smart. Thanks, Tom.
Gay, do you see with these horses at the end of the carnival, Linesman being quite fresh to go into that race yesterday, do you see that as an advantage over the horses that have been set for the Sydney Cup?
Well, no, not really. Stayers, Simon, in all fairness, stayers have to have plenty of kilometres under their belt. And Linesman have done, if not in races, on the track, plenty of work. But I must say that maybe a horse like a Sprint by Juggler, those sort of horses you can keep a bit fresh. But it's interesting when you do the form, John and Simon, that often the horse is backing up, and you look at Octagonal and Saintly and Juggler on several occasions, how well they've performed when they've backed up. So I think there's probably a stronger call to say that horses who back up do probably better.
I reckon, Gay, that you may agree with me when I say that Darbas is possibly the most improved horse in your stable, and he probably proved that in winning the Gosford Cup on Thursday with 59 kilos. Coming around the turn, he was 8 or 9 deep and looked to scramble for a couple of strides, and he sustained an amazing burst on the extreme outside. Red, blue sleeves, white cap, Shane Dye on board. Look at him charge now. He's grown a leg, this horse, Gay.
Grown a leg? I tell you, he might have been a bit bruised in the hind quarter, mate. You were cutting him in half.
I had to, but he's done very well for myself. I've had 4 rides on the horse for 4 wins, and I get on good with him.
Is he going to Brisbane?
He certainly is, as his jockey is also, aren't you, Shane?
Yeah, for the Brisbane Cup, Gay.
Yes. So Darbas will go to Brisbane, and you'll see him run in the Prime Minister's Cup, and you'll see him run in the O'Shea Stakes and then the Brisbane Cup. We might have one run before, and Shane and I were discussing that this morning. We'll probably make up our mind in about a week's time.
Gay, you might like to make note, and trainers all around Australia, would you please note that nominations close tomorrow, Monday, for all of the major races at the Brisbane Winter Carnival. What about Nothing Like a Dane, Gay? You originally suggested he might go up for the Grand Prix and the Derby. Have those plans been shelved?
Yes, they have. We discussed it with the owners, Helen Dalton, John Hodge and TJ, and we thought that the best program for him was to go to the Spelling Paddock. So he's gone out to the Spelling Paddock, and then he'll come back and contest races like the Moonee Valley Cox Plate, and hopefully then again the Melbourne Cup. But he's a very, very good horse, and we just thought it was the right thing just to give him a break now.
Gay, out of what's been a great autumn here in Sydney, what's been your highlight?
I think winning the Doncaster for the 3rd time and having my horses perform so well in it. We ran 1st, 3rd and 4th, and not one of them was disgraced. I think winning the St Ledger yesterday was a very thrilling moment, because the owners have been very loyal to the stable, and the horse has been a very consistent horse without being a star, and it was a really, he hit his pinnacle yesterday.
John, what else rude this jockey did? What about when he said, oh, I'll ride Darbas in the Brisbane Cup, but, you know, he must have a couple of better rides. You're on the ears as shrewd as you like.
Electronics going up there. I might have to ride her in the Prime Minister's Cup.
OK, boys, pipe down. Let me get a word in. Gay, thanks for joining us again from Tulloch Lodge. Our regards to everybody out there, including Lucky George Chronitis, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Simon. See you, Shane.
We'll come back after this break and we'll review the highlights of a wonderful autumn carnival. Have a look at Octagonal again in the Amy Rosehill Guineas. Nothing like a Dane looming up on the outside. Octagonal and Saintly right out in the middle of the track. Nothing like a Dane hit the lead at the 200, but Octagonal has gobbled him up on the outside. Saintly is going to have the last shot at them. Octagonal just in front of Nothing. Saintly on the outside. Octagonal just in front as they get near home. Saintly lunges. Octagonal. Octagonal wins the Guineas. Classy Fella dashed to the front, coming to the 200 mark over Lutsong and Stark County. Marja High getting home with Military Monarch, and Navy Seal is running on fairly well, but it's all Classy Fella, and the 3-year-old teaches him a lesson, wins easily. Yeah, Johnny Marshall, 3 winners for the day. He's one of the quiet achievers of Australian racing. He just gets on and does the job. Ken Callender talks about John Marshall's performances and touches on other salient points as he reviews the Autumn Carnival.
Good horses make good racing, and the story of the AJC Autumn Carnival was really told in less than 2.5 minutes of racing on Easter Saturday. That's how long it took Octagonal to win the AJC Derby. The crowd turned out to see him, the biggest in 17 years, and they got their money's worth. This horse, who just loves to win, stuck his neck out and beat Saintly in a thrilling finish. The other star of the carnival was yesterday when we saw Doremus win the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. Doremus, what's his limit? I don't know. He's won the Caulfield Melbourne Cup last year. What's he going to do this year? There's a thought for the spring. Octagonal versus Doremus. Who do you want to back? The other horse I think you should follow from the Autumn Carnival was the Peter Hayes trained mare, Eureka Jewel. She finished second in the AJC Oaks. She'll get a fair weight in the Cups in the spring, and I think she'll go on to bigger and better things. The ride of the day yesterday, well, it had to be given to Johnny Marshall. He rode a treble. I thought his best ride was on Classy Fella. The run of the day, certainly Doremus. The flop of the day, Beau Art. But she had excuses. She pulled up sore.
She certainly did, and will now head for the spelling paddocks. I think the most dominant and authoritative win of the entire Autumn Carnival was recorded by Flying Spur in the All-Age Stakes. He treated a crackerjack field with absolute contempt. When Stephen King released the brakes, he just left them standing. The second horse is Sprint By, and there are Catalan Opening is in 3rd place. It's a star-studded field, and that race, of course, was marred by the tragic breakdown of March Hare. Simon, your highlight.
Yeah, super horse, Flying Spur, I have no doubt. But you blokes are all influenced by horses winning by 4 lengths and 5 lengths. You forget about the real champions that stick their neck out. Octagonal in that derby was absolutely out of this world. He was beaten. He was too far out of the race at the 800-metre mark. He stuck his head out and he won it.
My highlight, Doremus. I thought his win yesterday was just outstanding. He should win the Doomben Cup. What else can you say? It was just unbelievable yesterday. And Simon, he didn't just win, and he didn't win by 4 or 5 lengths. He won by...
He won with authority,
with authority.
You can only do as much as you have to is put your head in front of the big white post first.
Yeah.
Octagonal keeps doing it.
But like you when you were playing cricket.
Well, mate, I didn't like coming second.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter by how much we won by either.
No.
In retrospect to both the Sydney Turf Club and the Australian Jockey Club, heartiest congratulations on one of the best Sydney Autumn Racing Carnivals in living memory. OK, we're going to take another important break on the racing show, and then we'll come back to wrap it up.